wish AI would try and take my job. I'd like to see AI steal catalytic converters, dickhead.
She asked, why are you here? You should be at home with your honey, eating hamburgers and drinking milkshakes. The longer you are away, the more chance there will be that she will be with another boy. No one loves you. No one cares. You are alone.
The government has abandoned you. They have ordered you to die, GI. Do not trust them.
Defect, GI. It is a very good idea to leave a sinking ship. People do not like you. Your family sees you as an animal. This is not changing to know your sacrifice means nothing to your people. You are not fighting for the security of your country. You are fighting for the progress of the few rich who need you to die so they can buy bigger houses. They will give you a medal, GI, but only after you are dead. Your government lies to you every day.
Did you know that abracadabra, you know, the word when the magicians pull the bunny out of the hat, actually came from an ancient phrase that translated to I create as I speak? Let me cook. I create as I speak. I don't necessarily believe in magic, but that's how much weight our words are supposed to hold. We used to live in a world where word was bond. A man could say, if I have nothing, I still have my word. But we have devalued words and made our words so cheap at this point that we've lost all meaning. We started talking faster than we were thinking. We give out empty, fruitless compliments just out of convenience. We make deprecating jokes about ourselves that we don't actually mean, and we make promises to ourselves and other people that we can't actually even follow through on. And whether it be compliments, promises, or insults, every time that you use words you don't mean, you are now chipping away at the authority and power that your words used to command. If you want to be taken seriously, take your words seriously and speak with intent. Your words are supposed to align with who you are and what you do. And the moment those two separate from each other, that is when your words lose their weight. And that's when you stop believing in your words. And when you stop believing in your words, you stop believing in yourself. And when you stop believing in yourself, how can you expect other people to believe in you instead? Abracadabra. I create as I speak. Make sure the world that you're creating with your words means something.
They're not pimples or a skin disorder. No, freckles fade in the winter, and you may turn into one big freckle in the summertime. But my Nana would always say, Cassie, cover up them witches' marks with foundation, because you'll never get a husband. So I always wear a hat, and I never risk anything under SPF 50. Especially with all the holes in the ozone layer. I did a lot of stargazing with my dad. I'm like Loretta. I'm a coal miner's daughter. Gotta have a dark sky. But it's easy to find the North Star. My great-grandfather fought at Blair Mountain. That's the greatest uprising in U.S. history. Appalachian coal miners standing up for a living wage. And they called us rednecks because we wore red bandanas around our necks in solidarity. I think I've always been suspicious of the man. And I think you tend to be as a redhead because you're an outsider. You're on the outskirts. I picked up a camera when I was young. Started photographing the folks in my town, shooting up in the same abandoned factories that their grandparents used to mill lumber in. I became a professional, traveled the world many times over, and I never married. No, I decided to stay a witch. I came home to tend to my dad on account of his failing memory. I call it a long goodbye. He doesn't remember me anymore, but he always tells me how much he likes my freckles. Now I focus on self-portraits. And I make real big prints of my face, and I take a marker, and I connect all my freckles up. I got all the constellations right here. Orion, the Big Dipper, my namesake Cassiopeia. She was a vain, boastful queen. They all are. And that led to her downfall, but it took me a lifetime to appreciate my freckle face. I see my beauty now.
You feel like a a big boy with your airsoft gun? Do you feel like a big boy? Do you really feel it? Huh?
Here are 6 of my favorite 9/11 jokes. Number 1. What is the difference between 9/11 and mowing the lawn? Mowing the lawn is an outside job.
And I'm not racist, but if I see a pissed off white boy wearing a coat, I'm leaving.
Ooh, arrest me, daddy.
Are you afraid of the ground?
Reports of bitches talking shit in these streets came flooding in early this morning, but when I arrived on the scene, not a bitch was found.
Number 2. Why were the Twin Towers upset? Because they ordered pepperoni pizza but got plain instead.
Men don't like loud women.
I love when people are like, hey, so what are you looking for in a man? And it's kind of like, I don't know. Can he maybe just not be horrific?
Number 3. I actually lost my uncle on 9/11. He was the best pilot in the Middle East.
I'm willing to bet none of you are using that college loan forgiveness. You don't seem like the college type.
Oh boy.
DHS doesn't have sex. DHS doesn't have sex.
I need to do that thing. I need to get the princess. What? Princess? Anyway, I was gonna give you 100,000 reasons why you should.
There is nothing embarrassing, hit it for me one time, nothing embarrassing about using SNAP benefits. What is embarrassing is micromanaging how you think people should be using those benefits. Well, why did you get a birthday cake? Well, it was my kid's birthday. No luxuries for when you're poor. I'm sure you saw that one lady who was eating her food like a horse and being like, well, I heard that SNAP benefits are being taken away in November. What'd you do for the month of October? Where's that money? Well, you absolute stupid fucking idiot. They used it for food, for them and their family to eat. That's the same kind of lady who will see a mother at a grocery store who's taking baby formula because they need it and will go, Mr. Electric, send him to the principal's office at once and have him expelled. It is embarrassing to make fun of someone for needing assistance for food. That's weird and malicious. What's also weird and malicious is reveling in the fact that they might not have food. That's so fucking weird. All of us are one flat tire away from not being able to pay rent. So if someone needs help with their food, who gives a shit? Because guess what? You are probably one fucking thing away from not being able to have food. And that should not be the norm. Everyone should be allowed to eat food and not go hungry. And to you, that's a crazy concept. You're a bad person.
I tell you what, bitch. Y'all keep fucking with me. I'm gonna get a new crystal. And this crystal is not gonna be amethyst or pyrite or smoky quartz. It's gonna be crystal meth.
Pick him up in a space coupe. I don't let my plug walk. Skirt. Pull up in a
Huh? That's not a costume. That's awesome. My name's Skunk, by the way. Nice. I actually traded a prosthetic leg I found at a dumpster behind the Kmart for this fiddle. Yeah, I'm actually starting a band with it. You can be the singer if you want to.
Remember, if you're having a hard time, ask yourself 3 questions. What is my side quest? What would this look like if it were fun? And what's the positive spin here? And by doing that, you can trick your brain into enjoying any hardship that you're experiencing. And remember, you get to do this through hike. You don't have to.
Oh, hi, princess. What? Yeah, I'd like to do that business trip, and I really need to. Oh, princess.
He says, what do you think about this weather? I say, well, I think it's untrue that no 2 snowflakes are the same. I think snowflakes are just holding their hands in different positions, high fives and peace signs and hitchhiker thumbs and middle finger fuck yous. Every winter, I try to catch as many fuck yous on my tongue as I can. It's the feminist in me. I also think we make too many snowmen and too few snow women. If I'd seen more snow women growing up, I might have learned how to flood a city every time someone told me to disappear. I might have learned how to load my rocky smile into a slingshot whenever a dude suggested smiling was something I should do. You're right, man. Here you go. Pew, pew. Where I come from, it got so cold. We made bonfires in the middle of the lake. There'd be this huge fire, and we'd be skating around the truth that all of us, like the ice, would one day have to hold that much, the impossible even. My father said not to worry. He said heat rises, but heat rises for the same reason people rise, because they have to. I think the heat would like to rest sometime, don't you? My mother used to knit my mittens too big so they'd still fit me when I grew. I wore them and looked like who I wasn't yet. I feel that sometimes when I'm writing poems, like they don't yet fit. Do you ever feel the best of you is something you're still hoping to grow into? I don't consider myself a cold person, but there's that wind chill factor. I think I got mine from my grandma. She'd sit in church and curse like a witch. Do you know witch hunts happen more commonly in cold weather because people looked for scapegoats to blame for hardship? I know exactly who I burned for my own failed crop. I used to fall too fast in love a lot. I used to make diamonds out of icicles and promise they would last. My father taught me how to make ice cream out of snow by adding milk and maple syrup. I've eaten more snow than anyone I know. I say that on a first date now. I say, the storm is in me. I say, promise you'll leave me if your heating bill goes up. When my grandma died, I went home and made a snow angel on her grave, and then I made another so she wouldn't be alone. I heard loneliness resonates in the same part of the brain as physical pain. 1 year before Christmas, I visited a men's prison, and when I was leaving, the snow started falling on the barbed wire fence, and I looked back to see if there were faces watching it from the windows, but there were no windows. That was the same year 8,962 people in North Dakota laid down on their backs and made snow angels at the same time. If I had been there, I know I would have proposed to whoever was beside me, some angel with a smile all her own and the good sense to say, I don't know, maybe. When my father was a kid, he'd walk his sled to the top of the city in a snowstorm, and his friends would stand at each intersection and every block below, and my father would come flying down, and his friends would stop traffic and holler, go, go, go. But enough about me. What do you think about the weather? Do igloos blow your mind? Have you ever gotten your tongue stuck on something cold? Have you forgiven her yet?
Rest in fucking peace, Doris!
Did you guys see the music festival video in Portland where the ICE agents threw tear gas into the crowd and then suddenly the wind picked back up and blew it back towards ICE instead?
Oh, damn, it burns.
Don't rub it, man. Just let it drip.
I can't keep my eyes open. It feels like fire.
What's the point?
You guys good? Y'all need water? Dispatch 715, we got 2 officers contaminated with OC. Request medics at Maple and 9.
I can't prove that witches were involved, but I'm pretty sure witches were involved. It's Portland.
All right, witches, listen up. Witches are not all about love, light, and positivity. Witchcraft is not about love, light, and positivity. You're living in a fantasy, honey. Let me bestow upon you some harsh truth and reality. Witches don't just work with nature. We don't just work with the elements. We are in tune with the universe. We understand nature. Everything from life and death. The water you need to drink to survive is the same water that's gonna drown a town and kill hundreds of people. The fire that keeps you warm at night, it's the same fire that burned witches in the European witch trials. A real witch understands truth and the natural order of the universe and nature. The balance of all things. No, witches are not supposed to spread love and joy and positivity. We're supposed to be exactly who we are. The good and the bad, the beautiful and the ugly. Any witch saying otherwise is completely out of touch. Delulu. You know, if you can't stand the fire, maybe don't pretend to be one of us. Maybe stick with the tarot. You could go over to spiritual talk. They love that positive high vibes bullshit.
Number 4. What is the worst thing about having the same birthday as 9/11? Party crashers.
I'm gonna tell you the same thing I tell her.
And the thing I tell her is, not enough people are terrified of you. You know, you're not enough people's worst nightmare. You're not. You got the tits for it, you got the ass for it, you got the constitution for it. There are enough shit-ass men in this world for you to terrorize a new one every day. Truly. And I don't think you use that to its full capacity. I don't think you make enough shit-ass men worried. I really don't. I think we should start trying a day. I think today should be day 1. Dear Diary, I'm gonna make shit-ass men regret ever fucking with me. That's what we're gonna put down today, okay? I believe in you, honey. You got the tits for it. You got the ass for it. You're gonna...
Well, but you see, the B word for me is the one that's most often used to refer to me. It used to bother me a lot. For me, the B word is an acronym for being in total control, honey. So, you want to call me that? It'll prove to me that you're out of control. And then I'll whip out my little Lorena Bobbitt fruit knife and take care of it for you. Go on.
You know, you can pop a human eye right out of the socket just with your fingers. You could do it to your own eye, but your brain won't let you. Maybe if you were on the right substances.
I love him. Yes, I am.
In the 1985 classic Back to the Future, at a scene called the Twin Pines Mall, we will bear witness to a sudden surprise terrorist attack, perpetrated by a group of terrorists. The attack is at the Twin, which is a reference to the Twin Towers. When we turn the sign upside down, the digits on the clock read 911 or 9/11. The Twin Pines are a symbolic representation of the Twin Towers. Before the terrorist attack, the twins are present, but after the attack, the twins are gone, replaced with a single pine. This takes place on 9/11, where the twins are destroyed and replaced with a single tower, the One World Trade Building. Also at this scene, Doc shows us 2 stopwatches, both of which display encoded 9/11s. Is this only a coincidence? The pines are the towers, and this symbol system is confirmed in Back to the Future Part 2, where we see the twin pines appear again on a projection movie screen in Marty's future house. Marty's family gathers around the movie screen, and the twin pines actually morph into the twin towers. This is because the twin pines are the twin towers. The pines are the towers. Pines, towers. And the Twin Pines Mall is the Twin Towers Mall, which is why all the clocks here secretly say 9/11 and why there will be a terrorist attack resulting in the destruction of the Twin Pines, or the Twin Towers. But the appearance of the towers is not a random backdrop, as we can see the Statue of Liberty lurking just as secretly as the towers, making this scene a secret recreation of New York City, where Marty's family has gathered to stare at Ground Zero. Of these 3 characters staring at Ground Zero, one of them is completely upside down. But in the entire Back to the Future saga, this is the only time when an upside-down character will ever appear. The hint being given here is to observe the scene from his perspective by turning it upside down. But when doing so, the Twin Towers are clearly shown to be falling down. In the entire history of cinema, this scene of Back to the Future is the most literal depiction ever made showing the Twin Towers falling down. So how is it possible that this scene would occur in a story that already contains a terrorist attack at the Twins on 9/11, where the Twins are the Twin Towers, which then execute Hollywood's best depiction of the Twin Towers' collapse? But Back to the Future doesn't just portray this attack, it develops into an elaborate warning about it.
I can just go back early and warn him. Doc, about the future. You will be shot by terrorists.
But Marty is carrying more essential information about the future. He knows the exact time and date that a tower will be struck.
Save the clock tower! Save the clock tower! Don't forget to take a flyer. Save the clock tower!
In a story we already suspect of being a 9/11 warning, how is it possible that this phrase appears on a flyer telling the future? Then, when the tower strike takes place, a giant flaming 9/11 is ignited in the street.
Save the clock tower!
Marty knows exactly when and where this tower strike will happen because it's all written on this flyer and placed in his hands, but something lurks in the background overseeing this transaction. But why does this symbol hover while Marty is forewarned about the tower strike? Back to the Future was written and directed by Robert Zemeckis, first released in 1985, but to depict the future, Zemeckis chose October 2015.
All right, Doc, what's going on, huh? Where are we? When are we? October 21st, 2015. 2015?
The Twin Towers scene takes place in October 2015, and the towers appear on a movie screen, meaning the McFly family is watching a secretly placed Twin Towers movie released on October 2015, directed by Robert Zemeckis. So how could it be that now, in the real October 2015, a major Hollywood production is about to hit theaters worldwide, and it is exclusively about the Twin Towers? It happens to be directed by Robert Zemeckis. The title of this new Twin Towers film is The Walk, and this new Twin Towers film has the exact same release date as the secret Twin Towers film Planted in Back to the Future, which exposes the symbolism of the Pines and depicts the Twin Towers collapse. So why would Zemeckis now draw our attention to it with a major Hollywood production? Back to the Future was released in 1985, The Walk in 2015, exposing this warning after 30 years. Marty writes this warning into a letter. He seals it shut, intending for it to remain hidden for a specific amount of time.
What committee it is? Find out in 30 years!
Number 5. When is a pentagon not a pentagon? When it's intercepted by a plane.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save...
If women need men to protect us from what men will do to us without you, explain to the class how that isn't racketeering. I'll wait. I was actually coiled like an adder, waiting for this specific comment, and I didn't even have to wait long. I knew that some nameless, faceless incel troll was gonna say this. Do you know how I know? Because you're all the same. Without men giving you rights, you wouldn't even have them. You need men to give you the rights, so you agree. Men withhold access to resources in order to get us to comply. Ooh! Save ourselves, babe. What do you think we've been doing? This is us saving ourselves. And have been in control for hundreds of years. And what have y'all done? What have y'all done other than subjugate us? We don't need you, but you need us. That's why there's a male loneliness epidemic. If your protection of women is contingent on whether or not we comply, then you're not really for protection. You're for control. But we already knew that.
Wow, you have incredible skin. What is your routine? Really? God, I'd love to get that off ya.
Baby girl, if he's not treating you like a fucking star, then hit him with your fucking car.
A newfound rage?
I've decided that if you take me on a date and the date sucks, you have to fight me at the end. Physically.
Physically?
Physically. This is because all these men I go out with still have their kneecaps, so they haven't been taught a lesson yet. And that's why they are the way they are, I think. So, new rule is that you fight me at the end if you show up late, or forget to pay, or say something about quizzing me about film theory. I'm taking you out.
Business thing, and I really, oh, hi, princess. What was I saying again? That money, and I really need to. Oh, princess.
I've been screaming for ice since I was a kid. Shout out to my immigrants and Chalo Palante. Shout out to my immigrants and Ale Valiente. Chinga la migra, fuck deportation, cause when I'm on
I think the most disorienting thing about being alive right now is that not only is everything so dumb and scary, but even our jobs are feeling a little dumber and scarier. So there's no respite from the insanity. You're on your phone scrolling, and it's like, area man was deported to Rwanda after posting online that Charlie Kirk was kind of annoying. And you're like, well, that feels excessive. And then it's like, ping, and your boss is emailing you like, hey gang, so as you know, we've invested a lot of money in our AI assistant Pierre. Please use Pierre when writing all your emails. If you need help getting set up with that, Archie's on this email and he can do that. You're like, I don't need to use Pierre. And then you go back to scrolling and it's like, the city of Portland is under attack. And you're like, by who? And it's like, America. And you're like, well, that can't be right. And then it's like, ping, and it's your boss like, hey, disregard the last email. Stop using Pierre immediately. Some users are reporting that it's telling them that the Holocaust never happened. And you're like, yeah, of course. And then you go back to your phone and it's the Savannah Bananas just shaking ass to the Hairspray soundtrack while a guy's facing a 3-2 pitch count. And you're like, this almost feels worse than everything else I've seen today. And it's like, ping, and your boss is like, great news, gang. Legal approved Pierre, so just proceed with caution. Try not to ask it about anything that was going on in Europe in the 40s.
Nothing behind those eyes.
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?
This photo, The Scourged Back, is under review at a couple different museums and parks for failing to meet the version of history that this administration would like it to, and this is a song about the first time I ever saw this photo. I'm 9 years old, in history class, and I think the world is kind. It would be unfair to call me naive. I just have an undeveloped mind. For most of the textbook up to this point, the people haven't looked like me, and I'm starting to wonder, do my people have any history? And then I see the back, torn by the scourge, glistening and black, a Civil War dirge. And my gut feels heavy, my palms feel leaden, my pupils they widen as reality sets in. This country I love and pledge to every morning has done something so awful, so truly abhorrent. And I learned that trauma gets held in the mind and the skin. The body still throbs with the collagen, like the way grandma shivers when she sees a poplar tree. You see, behind every whip there is a hand. Behind every torture, there is a man, there is wailing in every fiber of our clothes. And that's just our history, and his is just one of many stories. Don't be fooled by the stripes and the stars, there is also a flag in the stripes of his scars.
They don't say congratulations, but you know they watch that shit. I ain't even gon' get mad.
Name 5 beer songs, gun pointed to your head. Bow, I'm dead.
Don't worry, because God is in control of your life. What is he, fucking drunk driving? What's his blood alcohol content? It's wine. It's all wine. No wonder.
I hate to say it, but one thing that kept me away from men was seeing how much they aged women. When I was in college, I heard the statistic about the expectations of women and men in labor. I was in college around the early 2020s. And basically, my friend was studying sociology and like gender studies, and she was telling me that 1/5, 20% of a woman's lifespan is cut off due to the expected labor she has to pour into a heteronormative lifestyle in America in that time. Again, this was research she was finding in 2020. I went to a research institution. And still in that modern age, she was finding that 1 out of every 5 days a woman could live was taken away from her because of her attachment to a man and the gender norms that are then expected of people attached to men through the institution of marriage. And when she said that, that woke something up in me, and what I already knew at a certain sense was confirmed for me.
It's almost my birthday, and if I were getting ready to turn 35 instead of 55, here's what I'd go back and tell myself. First, stop rushing to arrive. You don't arrive, you evolve. Never make permanent decisions just to prove you're stable. The world does not reward quiet suffering, so don't do it. It's not necessary. You're going to outgrow people you once prayed to keep. That's not betrayal, that's becoming. Stop mistaking being busy with being important. Rest doesn't mean you're falling behind. It means you're finally learning balance. I'd tell her stop trying to make average relationships feel special and quit explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. Not everyone deserves access just because they were there in the beginning. Learn to enjoy your own company. The peace you feel alone will protect you later. And save money even when you don't have much. The discipline matters more than the dollar amount. Stop trying to fix people who show you they like to be broken. Take the picture. Wear the outfit. Time moves fast, but confidence leaves a legacy. Protect your energy like it's currency, because it is. And most of all, stop thinking you're running out of time. You're not late, you're learning. I would tell her all of that because every one of those lessons cost me years to figure out. So if you're 35, start now. Save yourself the detour. Hope that helps.
I need to get that cash. I need to... Oh, hi, princess. What? My grandma down the stairs, like... Princess! Like I told you.
What's your blood type? That should be fine.
I want to know is, what is the female version of the Roman Empire?
I think about housewives in the 1950s addicted to Quaaludes. I think about Marilyn Monroe dreaming about being a movie star when she was just Norma Jean. I think of Sylvia Plath's head in the oven. I think about witches being burned at the stake during the Salem witch trials. I think about Lady Godiva riding through the city naked on the horse. I think about Joan of Arc. I think about Joan of Arc a lot. I think about doe-eyed blonde girls being forced to keep horrific secrets at the Playboy Mansion. I think about Marie Antoinette. I think about 2000s diet culture. I think about Kate Moss's quote about being skinny. I think about Princess Diana, and I think about Britney Spears. I think about Sharon Tate. I think about Lorena Bobbitt. I think of Eileen Wuornos. I think of Left Eye.
She's not dressed like a slut. You just think like a rapist. Let that sink in. Yes, I just said what I said. Mwah.
Jesus already came back, but you missed him. He was the homeless man you crossed the street to avoid. He was the immigrant you demanded be deported. He was the trans kid you mocked until they lost their will to live. He was the addict you judged harshly. He was the prisoner you condemned instead of restored. You know it's bad when someone who isn't even a Christian can recognize Jesus more than his so-called believers. Because you don't want Jesus. You want a weapon stamped with his name. That's why I understand you cling to the rapture. Leaving feels easier than staying. The idea of escape is relieving because it means you don't have to face the mess you've made or the emptiness gnawing at your own chest, but you were told heaven is supposed to be created here with love and mercy on earth as it is in heaven. The truth is, you don't want heaven. You want control.
Whose prayer gets answered first? The slave praying for freedom or the slave owner asking for a profitable harvest? Because if they both believe in the same God, then who the hell was God listening to? And what does it say when the same name can be used to bless the whip and to justify surviving it? It's a strange kind of faith, isn't it? One that goes quiet when children starve and finds its voice when your team wins the game or you find your car keys. I grew up with that faith. Those early morning Sundays, tired eyes and a wrinkled shirt, following my parents into a building where the air smelled like coffee and stale walls, where hands reached for hymnals and mouths stretched wide in song, singing about God and grace before I ever even knew what either one was. They told me God was everywhere, but I noticed he was mostly mentioned between four walls on Sunday or over dinner when the food smelled good enough to deserve divine credit for. I didn't ask any questions. You just don't. Not in that world. You stand when they stand, close your eyes when the prayer starts, and inherit belief like you inherit the family name. But then one day I popped the bubble. Met people who prayed in languages I didn't understand, who saw love without shame and accepted anyone they met for who they were, and yet they still found peace. That's when the contradictions began to shout. The cracks in the story widened into canyons I could not cross without asking, when faith starts to look more like a costume than a calling, are they worshiping God or just a louder version of themselves? I don't know what I believe anymore, but I know what I won't. I won't believe in a faith that sharpens swords before it opens arms. I won't follow a God that turns its back when justice calls, because a faith that fears the truth will just trade its soul to keep its story. And once it does, it's not God it's worshiping anymore.
And last but not least, I would tell another joke about 9/11, but it would just crash and burn.
I was called an attention whore, which obviously I resent. I find that fucked up and offensive. I'm not an attention whore, I'm an attention slut. I don't charge for attention, I get it for free, and I get it from everyone. It's not my fault that I'm interesting, but it's definitely your fucking fault that you're boring.
Actually, maybe give me some money. I don't need money from a man, I got my own. But I want money from a man, and I'll be at the match later. Woo! Because getting girls rich, that's a part of life.